Hi everyone, Richard here. Today I got word from the Google add-on review team that my Google Sheets add-on was approved and is now available for purchase in the Google Sheets add-on store. So I'm going to walk you through what that process looks like. And again, if you're a school who's going to be coming back to in-person learning soon, you may be wanting to think about your dismissal workflow, and this is an affordable solution for you to possibly consider. So let's check it out. So I'm going to go ahead to the add-ons and search for Dismissal Guru in the add-ons store. And look, nobody's using it. That's because this is so new. So I'm going to go ahead and install the add-on. These are the permissions it's going to ask for. Once you go ahead and allow, it's been installed. Now, one thing you'll notice is you can install, but none of the functionality will work until you've submitted payment. So if I go ahead and click Open Dismissal Form in Sidebar, what will happen instead is some information on how you can purchase this. So the way I've set this up is you can PayPal or Venmo me $25, and then in that payment, send along the email address you would like to use with Dismissal Guru, and that's used for the licensing purposes of this add-on. So once that's in there, the add-on will function to its full potential. So I'm going to go ahead and put the email address of this account into the licenses, and then we're going to come back and run that exact same function to walk through the setup. Now that this account has been authorized to run the add-on, we're going to go ahead and launch the same option, Open Dismissal Form in Sidebar. And what this will do is it will create a Google form and response sheet for you directly in this Google Sheet, as well as a tab to place your students, a data tab to sort of handle all of the formulas needed to create this workflow, and then a summary sheet which will, as students are dismissed, it adds the new students top down. So if you have students who aren't specifically in any classroom, or that there may be at the front desk, but they want to watch for their name appearing, you could have the summary sheet displayed on a screen, and you wouldn't have to keep scrolling. Just the new entries appear at the top. The Google form is customizable, so again, you can change the names of these locations, but do not add questions or remove questions. And in this instance, it is collecting the email address automatically. So this is for accountability. So whoever is inputting PIN numbers, you'll know who inputted the PIN number and at what time via the timestamp. So the way this works is step one is you load your dismissal workflow with your students. So I have prepared a sample set of students here. I'm just going to copy this and paste it into my student tab. And at this point, once I've loaded my students, and you can typically get this information very quickly from your student information system, the next thing I'd like to do then is generate unique PIN numbers for each of these students. So that is this function right here, generate unique pins in bulk, and it'll quickly add 4-digit PIN numbers, and will overwrite if any existing pins if you have them there. I'm going to click yes, and now we've got PIN numbers that we can share with families. You can print them out. They can put them on big pieces of paper. They can be displayed, inside a vehicle or carried in a purse, whatever is best to for your dismissal process. Now, if you get some new students, so I'm just going to quickly copy this section here, paste it down here. Say you don't want to mess up all of the PIN numbers you've created, but just add some new ones. That's what this function is for, create unique PINs for new students only. So you do that, and this will add PIN numbers for any new students at the bottom of your dismissal sheet. So now that that's taken care of, we need to create individual dismissal sheets for the teachers to monitor. So again, these are based on the section column. So if you use a teacher name for your section, every section will get its own individual sheet. And of course, we would then share this Google Sheet. Once it's all ready, we would give view access to all the teachers, and all they would need to do is monitor their own Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and quickly generate all of those individual dismissal sheets. So now we get confirmation all individual dismissal sheets have been created. And we've essentially built our workflow. So another thing we can do is we can set up the archiving piece, but let's first submit some data. So now that we have our students in here, so we know that student number 4 is in Jones' class. So, or actually grade 4, student 13. So what we're going to look for is we're going to type in this PIN number. So imagine this is a smartphone outside in your pickup area in the car line. Your staff would enter the PIN number in the Google form on their phone, choose the location where the student should go to, and hit submit. And now that information is immediately dealt to the Jones tab. So that student 13 should head to the car line for dismissal, and we've got a time-stamped information related to that. Of course, the information first lands in the form response sheet, and as I had mentioned before, in the summary sheet, this gives us all the information, and as new entries come in, it's top-fed. So you can kind of see that as a kiosk sort of way of seeing the whole process happen. So now we've seen how that piece works. Let's go ahead and look at, let's go ahead and just schedule the 9 p.m. Daily auto archiving. So what this does is it'll reset all of your dismissal sheets and get them ready for the next day for you. So you don't have to clear any of the data and go through tab by tab by tab to get it ready and clean for the next day. And when it archives, you'll get a copy of that day's dismissal log. So I'm going to go ahead and just set the archive. That is okay. Now we're actually going to watch. I'm going to manually force the archiving right now. So I'm going to archive the dismissal log here. And notice how the information has now gone from the summary sheet, the Jones tab. We get this here because, right, this is just a simple formula that was put in here. There's no longer data in the form response sheet to capture. So this is ready for the very next day. Now, in the summertime, we may want to turn off the auto archiving because we don't have students coming to class. So, and we don't want to be creating all those excess archive files in the Google Drive, which we'll explore where they all went when we performed that archive in a moment. And the last piece of the add-on here is just to get the form URL. So when we do this, this is the URL you would want to email to your staff who is outside welcoming the families at a safe distance for picking up their children. So you could just quickly copy that and throw that in an email and share it to whoever needs it to enter the PIN numbers. Now, as part of this, a Google Drive folder is created in your Google Drive called Dismissal Archive. And now that we've scheduled the 9 p.m. archive, of course I manually forced an archive now, but you get a time-stamped archive of the summary sheet. So here, this was if we did this for multiple students, we would see that day's events for dismissal. So if we ever needed to go back and check when a child was called for dismissal, we would have the timestamp and the name of the teacher who inputted, or the email address of the teacher who inputted the PIN number at that time. So there it is. This is Dismissal Guru. It is now available in the Google Sheets add-on store. And when you purchase, it may take me possibly up to 24 hours to add your email address to the licensing. But I'll try to be as responsive as possible. So with that, thanks for watching, and stay safe.